I'm trying to get that dough. Every day is another struggle. This is my life. So what if my plans said no? Just sit back.
What's up, guys? We are back with another reaction on the channel, and today we are reacting to Llama Art's Inhuman Entity Sleep Paralysis horror story animated. I have not watched Llama Arts in a really long time. I think I found them maybe 5 to 6 years ago, just kind of scrolling through YouTube, and their horror stories are really dope. Let's go ahead and get into it.
And I unloaded the truck parked on the dirt driveway. We had recently started renting an old mining house built in the early 1900s. Most of the home had been renovated over the years, but there were still glimpses of what the house used to be. The exterior of the home was painted a bright yellow and adorned a blood-red door. The yard was abundant, with lush green grass, minus the few brown patches that littered the ground. In the corner of the yard sat a dilapidated gazebo, filled to the brim with landscaping equipment. I stood facing the house, admiring the quaint ambiance it seemed to exude. I felt something hit my back and spun around. My brother, William, was standing behind me with a box under his right arm. "Let's pick up the pace, we don't have all day," he said, with a little annoyance masked in his voice. Yeah, I responded, and started walking to the back of the truck. My other two friends, Elijah and Leon, were in the process of stacking some boxes on a dolly. "Hey man, take this to my room," Elijah said, as he handed me a large box. I resituated it in my arms and gripped it. As I did so, I could hear glass clanging inside, and a strong, familiar odor starting to leak out. "Hey man, be careful," Elijah snapped. "If you ever want to smoke again, I'd highly advise you to take it one step at a time there, champ." "Maybe if you didn't throw everything into one single box without bubble wrap, then you wouldn't have an issue of something breaking, Elijah," Leon responded. Elijah's eyes widened, as if
Those
he had
trees
just figured
aren't
out the
creepy at
secrets
all.
of the universe. I laughed, turned around, and proceeded into the house. The floorboards creaked as I stepped onto the warped living room floor. I surveyed my surroundings of the old rustic home as I headed to Elijah's bedroom. Only 2 interior rooms had been renovated in the entire house, one being the kitchen, which had marble countertops and new appliances, the other being my room. I was the one who found the home on the market, so respectively I had first choice of which room I wanted to claim as my own. The other rooms, on the other hand, were still the same as they had been since the early 1900s, with dreary wooden floorboards and old chipping paint. "Dude, what the hell?" William yelled from upstairs. I quickly climbed the narrow stairway to find my brother in his room. I walked in to find what looked like to be a large lump underneath the wooden floorboards. It almost looked like Andre the Giant was buried in the middle of the room. "I told you it was an old home, Will. Things shift over time," I said, trying to hold my snickering back. "Yeah, I get that, but you didn't say that I'd have to maneuver around a speed bump," he snapped back. I took a deep sigh and turned to him. "Okay, look man, we're only going to be here for a year. You've got plenty of room to put your bed so you're not sleeping on an incline." William turned back to the floor dejected. "That's easy for you to say. You're not staying on the cover of Sticky Fingers by the Rolling Stones." After we had moved everything into the house, we all plopped down on the couch,
Literally in the middle of
and
nowhere.
began our well-deserved R&R. Elijah had already begun smoking, and the room started to fill with the pungent odor. "So are we going to be doing some ghost hunting tonight, boys?" Elijah said, as he passed the joint to Leon. "Oh, come on, you don't actually believe that crap, do you?" Leon responded as he was rolling his eyes. "The guy blew his brains out on the front porch in the 1930s. I'd be surprised if there wasn't a ghost floating through the halls. I mean, How do you think we got such a killer deal on rent?
Oh, hell
William
no.
said as he lifted his arms and started mimicking the sounds of a specter. Shut up. It's all nonsense. You've just been watching too much Ghost Hunters, I responded. But anyway, I'm gonna go to bed. We need to get up early to do some cleaning. Good night, guys. I stood up and meandered to my room. In all reality, I was a little perturbed by what happened at this house. I've always been quite agnostic to my beliefs of ghosts or spirits, but I've never witnessed anything myself. The rent was super cheap for an entire house, and I wanted to save some money for a trip outside of the country. I pushed the fact that someone had ended their life to the back of my mind. I wish things would have turned out much differently. I entered my room and slid under my sheets and basked in the warmth of my bed. It had been a long day and my body ached from moving. I grabbed my phone and looked for a rain and thunder YouTube video to help me sleep, and after about 15 minutes, I crept into comfortable darkness. My eyes shot open in the middle of the night. The moonlight shone through my window and enveloped my room in comforting light. I could hear creaking from the house as the wind howled outside. I tried to sit up, but found my efforts futile. Sleep paralysis was a regular occurrence in my life. It happened at least once a month due to stress and a little help from my antidepressants. At this point, I'd almost gotten used to it. I could hear what sounded like a light scratching noise coming from inside my room, and prepared myself for the usual dark figure to be
I
standing
could
in
not
the corner.
imagine having sleep paralysis.
My eyes darted
every
from
night.
left to right.
Every night, though? Like, that's crazy.
Around. A cold feeling crept over my body as I started sweating profusely, my sheets becoming soaked. The skittering stopped, but was replaced by cracking, one that resembled that of broken bone. Out of my peripheral vision, I could see long, needle-like limbs protruding from my closet. They each moved slowly, tapping the wall as if they were looking for something.
Oh my god, that's like a spider. Oh my god.
A large, bulbous black mass starting to show itself from the closet door. It was coated in tiny hairs.
Oh
and
my
twitched
god.
almost habitually. A loud moan echoed
I would
throughout
die.
my room as the creature finally presented itself.
I would just die.
A spider-like entity was situated on my wall. The reason
And he can't move.
Spider-like
Because he has
because
sleep
its head
paralysis.
had been replaced with that of a human one.
What?
Its eyes were blacked out from the shadows of moonlight, and its lower jaw was removed, revealing a blotchy tongue that oozed saliva. It was about the size of a twin bed and stared at me for what seemed like hours. My heart was racing. I was begging my body to move, but to no avail.
Oh my god.
I was stuck there, in suspended
That
torment.
is just giving me like, ugh.
I tried screaming, but I was unable to make a sound. All I could do was watch the creature on my wall as it...
If you know me, you know I do not like spiders. Like, just, I don't even like looking at pictures of them because my skin starts to crawl. I could not imagine. I've had dreams before where I will, it's not necessarily sleep paralysis, but I've had dreams where I'll be in a room and I'll see a spider. Or I've had a dream before, this was a long time ago, where I was on these steps and it was kind of like darkish, and tarantulas were like being thrown at me. I couldn't see who was throwing them at me, but they were being thrown at me. And for whatever reason, my body was catching them. So I could feel the actual big, probably this big tarantula in my hand. Oh my God. The most disgusting, most cringiest, most disturbing feeling you could ever feel. I could not imagine seeing a tarantula or a spider that big and not being able to move at all. I couldn't. That's crazy.
Suddenly, it skittered to the ceiling right above me, and started scratching with its two front legs.
Oh my
Almost
God.
like it was burrowing. It then started to sink into the wall, as if the wall had turned into quicksand. First, the abdomen, then the legs.
What the?
Eventually, all that was left was its mangled head staring straight at me. Those cold, dead eyes boring into my soul. I could hear it moaning, and I could feel the drips of saliva hit my torso.
Ew.
The creature then let out an inhuman roar and vanished into my ceiling. My body was finally released, and I jolted out of my bed screaming. As I did, the house erupted into more terrified outcries coming from upstairs. Apparently, I wasn't the only one who saw something.
Wow.
And, unfortunately, it wouldn't be the last time either.
Yo. I could not imagine. I've had sleep paralysis before, but I ain't have no sleep paralysis. Like, I've had sleep paralysis where I'm sleeping and I'll hear something, or I know that someone's like walking around or someone's coming or anything like that, but I've never had a sleep paralysis when it comes to like animals or bugs or anything. Oh my God. Oh my God. I can't imagine that. Whew. That's crazy.
Oh. Done it all. Been through it all. I walked over the motherfucking fire with sandals.